discuss things.
Sure.
So do we have any public comments?
We do
That
not.
come by email? Okay. We'll skip agenda item number 2 until Jeremy joins us. We can talk about survey results. As long as we
Yeah,
don't try to pass any motions.
you can Debbie, Betsy, can you give me sharing privileges, please?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
So there should be a button near the top of your screen that says share.
So I was luxuriating, just sitting on the couch, snacking and not too busy. But, no, I was trying to do some work on this week and I don't have time. So, anyway, so I started working on a deck. Let's see. I could use people's help with writing because I'm not a writer. I'm more of a numbers guy, so that's a placeholder. But I mean, I just wanted to put something in a PowerPoint, start showing some of the results, and yeah. For question 1, I remember you.
Sean, can you make the screen a little bigger?
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, one of the more prominent takeaways that we had discussing the survey results were the finding gaps in restaurants between people doing it in Woodbridge and outside of Woodbridge. So I wanted to display that data in such a way that I'll point that out. I don't necessarily know if we need to include, the never occasion, or even the once every few months, but certainly, the once a week, 4 times a week, and the 5 times a week. And I did the math, and I pointed out the biggest, the biggest gaps that were, substantial, responses. So
I think the never is good. Yeah. It looks like 57.4% of people never go out for breakfast. Yeah, that's interesting.
I mean, how do people feel about displaying it in this fashion?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it looks good.
Okay.
I just think, like what Donovan said, 50-something% of people never go out for breakfast. It also depends on the way someone answered this. Are they answering it as a in real time COVID question, or they were answering it what they would have done and what will they do? So.
Well, I mean, I think that's
Sure.
something that we have to, when we have like a intro slide, we can write the caveat that this survey took place in spring 2021. So obviously, I think, COVID's on the mind. We could say something to the effect of like, this survey was conducted in spring of 2021, during COVID. Right. PowerPoint.
And just something like answers may reflect
Yeah.
interpretation or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I like all the bar charts.
Okay, do you want to go back to the bar chart?
Sure. So. COVID, right, responses.
Well, we could definitely combine some of the charts. And the major takeaway is that people go outside of Woodbridge a lot more than staying in Woodbridge to eat. And do we want, does the town want to do something about it?
All right.
Considering how many open-ended responses were that they wanted more places for breakfast, the bigger differential is dinner time. So I kind of think that's funny.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, Cleo, can you, the first point that you made, could you repeat that?
That we can combine some of the bar charts. I think we all agreed about that. And that there were a lot of open-ended answers saying that they wanted more places for breakfast or coffee, but the biggest differential seems to be in dinner time, that people are going
Yeah.
outside of Woodbridge for dinner.
Yeah, that's huge.
Breakfast and coffee, right?
Yeah. Well, that's just from a quick review. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe Betsy and I can write down the comments and we can email them to you later.
Okay, all right, that'd be great. When you say combine the charts, what are you talking about combining?
Well,
Are you saying not as much detail, perhaps?
I mean, can't we combine categories like 2 to 4 times per week or more, and then combine those statistics?
Yeah.
Assuming they couldn't answer more than one category.
Okay. But that's kind of the formatting of the, the way that we had the responses. You're talking about like bucketing, like never in, once every few months, and then the 2 to 4 and like 5, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, what's our goal? We want to present a summary of the survey to the Board of Selectmen, I'm assuming? Or is our goal something
yeah,
different?
I mean, this is, I think this should be for everybody to see, right? So, I mean, perhaps, I think it's good to have it displayed like this, but we take a higher level view, and yes, maybe create, I would say maybe what maybe 3 buckets. You could say like never to once every few months to never, the 1 to 4 times a week, and then 5 or more, maybe.
Sure.
All right.
I mean,
Okay. Go ahead.
it was a really big survey, so we're gonna just have to figure out a way to simplify it, because we're not gonna go into a Board of Selectmen meeting and regurgitate all the answers, so.
No, but
Right.
you could maybe, show the data, but have the narrative streamlined.
Right.
Because some of this stuff maybe isn't telling us much of anything, or kind of what we expected, or maybe it's not something
Mm.
that we feel is relevant, but we
Right.
could still show it, because I think the survey itself was only 10 questions. But maybe they're not all,
Right.
But we also don't know
Just-
how representative the respondents
of course, yeah.
Because there were how many
I did that.
people who answered?
I used a stat. I found like a website for stat testing, and I plugged in the respondents, and I guesstimated the population, and it actually showed that it was significant. So like, I don't know, like 90%, I think. Cleo, this might be something like along the lines of what you were saying. I grouped it by the occasion. So like, so dinner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I like that.
I was just working on this just before the meeting. I was trying to get it, squeeze it in, but so
Can
yeah,
this one be in lieu of the other one?
sure. I mean, it's just a different, it's the same numbers, just looking at it a different way. But yeah,
Yeah.
clearly, I think this really displays, the opportunity, right here, once a week, where you've got 27 point difference between going outside of Woodbridge and Woodbridge. So
Yeah.
maybe that's like the takeaway there.
Is it backwards? I thought they were still going outside of Woodbridge for the,
40.
can you go back to the other one? I thought outside of Woodbridge surpassed Woodbridge in every,
Yeah, I believe that's what the survey said.
hmm,
Yeah, so outside Woodbridge is the blue bar, and inside Woodbridge is the orange bar.
but every few months it seems to be inside
Oh,
in Woodbridge.
Maybe okay.
Okay.
So, guess who people who rarely go out, mostly go out in Woodbridge.
Yeah,
But
they don't
people-
like to go far.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're saying that they go out to eat once a week in New
Oh.
Haven or Orange or elsewhere, but every few months they're going out to eat in Woodbridge.
No, that looks like it's the right. That looks like it's the right data. 11.7, 30.5. It's every 2 months. Months. Yeah, Woodbridge actually wins that one.
Okay, interesting.
Mhm.
So to make it a little more simple, I guess, we could maybe switch from having it, these 5 detailed charts, and have 3 charts by dinner, by meal occasion. And then,
Yeah.
probably a better way to go.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then let's see, charts. Q2, what was Q2? Q2 is what types of cuisine restaurants would you most like to see in Woodbridge? And was that the one that was fully open-ended?
I don't remember.
Let's see. Type of- Oh yeah.
Yeah, because people are all over the place with this one.
Oh, yeah. I do see some themes in there. Okay. So that one could be, that one could probably be, rolled up. Because there's cafes, there's barbecue, Chinese, coffee. We just can't get enough coffee. And there's a lot of Indian, a lot of Italian, Japanese. Okay, so I could roll that together and create some buckets and have like an all other.
Okay, what was question 3?
Question 3 is, how often do you frequent the Woodbridge Business District's district for the following? So it's, similar thing with the, the frequency. And it was these topics here. So this one. So retail, shopping, eating, personal care, work, and passing through. So I'm not really, I'm not sure what to say about this one.
Well, you're showing that half the people are just driving through 5 days a week. That's what it shows.
Mhm.
And the majority of the people that visit the business district are just here just to work or for work.
No, I think it's never. They never go to the business district for work.
Sorry, I can't.
Yeah, I have to read it twice.
Once every. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
But I think it's surprising how many people say that they never or only every few months do their shopping, eating, or any sort of professional services in town. So they're getting their hair done, they're getting their food, they're doing their shopping, all of that elsewhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the thing here is, again, to like manipulate the data to display differently. And if I took the 5 times to get, like 5 times a week for each of these occasions, so it would clearly show that, this 43% stands out for just passing through. So the way that I flipped this around to be like this, I could flip this around. And so I'm starting to do that.
Okay.
So go like this, maybe.
Yeah, let's not waste meeting time to
Yeah.
look at charts. Okay.
Okay. So that, and then question 4, which 5 businesses would you most likely patronize if they open in Woodbridge? There's the bagels, bakery, and coffee. Specialty food and grocery are up there. So
But Sean, what's interesting is, right, so a majority of people hardly ever go out for breakfast, but yet they want to have a breakfast place.
right.
Like
Because they
8%.
don't feel the choices are there.
Okay.
That's the sense I got from reading the responses.
Yeah. Respondents.
Okay.
And there were complaints about the list, right? Because we created the list and then we had the other.
Yeah.
So people use the other line to complain about the list of businesses we wrote.
Mhm.
Just volunteers doing our best here.
I know. Okay, well, this is, these charts are definitely a lot easier to gain insights from than the standard charts from the survey.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
this is-
and that's what I was aiming for. So,
No,
I mean,
thank you for,
I've got the data in the Excel file now, so it's, you know, it should be relatively, shouldn't be too much more work to, you know, I gotta just transpose the data and get it into the, you know, the charts. And so, what other questions did we have?
I think if there's a way to showcase all the open-ended questions without it being too lengthy, because I thought those were the nuggets that were really interesting.
Yeah, so yeah, so question 4, like you said, Cleo, there was, you know, there was 147 responses there. Yeah, I had to tease them out of the data, and I was able to, let's see. Is that 100? Wait, no, that's 60 responses. But
Okay, well, yeah, if you, what about the next tab? Q4 other detail, maybe it's there? No. Well, when,
yeah,
I think if you, yeah, sort them in alphabetical order, you might start seeing some things. Stuff like that I can help with. I just have no help with charts.
okay.
Yeah, other is really huge. We can narrow that down a bit more.
Okay. All right. So, that's all I got.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, what do we have next? Betsy, can we discuss goals without having?
I think so. I mean, the you know, conversation's been ongoing for a little while. A couple of things that we had talked about were some kind of marketing campaign, using the survey data in some way, either. Oh, there's Jeremy. We just started talking about goals, Jeremy.
Jeremy, I'm going to pass the baton. And you could call the meeting to order because we didn't have a quorum until you arrived.
Yeah, you really missed some really great charts.
Oh, no, can't hear you, Jeremy.
You're muted.
Unmute.
You're still
There we
muted.
go. Am I better?
There we
Yeah.
go. There you go.
Sorry. I had Little League duty. It's our last game of the season. I couldn't be there
Well,
for it.
Oh, so
awesome.
cute.
So.
Anybody get to base?
Oh yeah, no. They've the improvement is monumental from where we were in April. So I was very proud of the kids. So where did you start? Where were you?
So we could not call the meeting officially to order because we needed you for the quorum.
Gotcha.
We had no public comments. So we need to review and approve the minutes.
Sure.
And you missed the survey. You missed the survey result discussion.
Okay. Has everyone reviewed the minutes from the May meeting? Yeah. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
So
Donovan made a
moved.
motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any discussion? Okay.
No, we got to discuss before the vote.
No discussion before the vote? I had a meeting the other night and they did the same thing I just did. So I guess if you already discussed the surveys, or anything that you discussed that you want to discuss any further, or what came out of the discussion? Curiosity.
Sean has worked on a few of the questions. He put the survey results in a different format than we saw with the standard reports from the survey company, and it's easier to read. And we discussed flipping the charts a little bit. So he's going to keep working, and so I think that's it, right? Right, Sean?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess the next thing on the agenda is the goals for the next half of 2021, and the CETUS best practice guideline. I don't know if any of you have read through what Betsy passed along the other day. I actually came to my office from my game because it was a lot closer, so I don't have my handout, but I'm gonna go and see if I can get it real quick. But did anyone have a chance to look at the best practices?
Oh,
I've read it in the past. I haven't read the most recent one, but I think it's something that we should try to work towards.
I agree. Why can't I find the?
I think it'll
And
put.
when I was on the website earlier today, it says that it's the application, so the checklist is going to be updated sometime very soon. They said, I think either spring 2021 or June 2021. So it should be coming very, very soon. So I know I heard anecdotally that applying was more difficult than they had anticipated. So in some way, I think this is going to be streamlined, but I still think these are all good metrics and kind of goalposts.
Will it be? I mean, can we compare it to what's up there from the 2019 CETUS guidelines? I think that's what they have posted up there now. Is 2019.
Yeah. So I mean, I've got a printout of 2019. So whenever 2021 comes out, I'll be able to do a quick check to see what's different.
Okay.
So this is something we apply for and get approved?
Yeah, so you could apply if you reach, I haven't looked through really closely to see, it looks like there's, points for each category. If you reach a certain threshold, then you can qualify. Or you could just use it as, kind of a checklist to say, what do we need to focus on?
Right.
But I think if the town was certified, I think that would be a nice little thing to brag about.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think maybe. Can I share my screen? Should I go over this application? We can just look at some of the items and think about some of the things that we can start working on as we sort of approach the summer and the fall.
Sure.
So Betsy, is the town a member of CETUS, or you as an individual? I'm just trying to look at the website myself.
I think EDC is a member.
Okay.
Okay.
That work?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this is the CETUS application from 2019. Basically, I'll go down here a little bit further. So there's a points breakdown. You have the presentation of application, which is 10 points. Communications is 70 points. Coordination and collaboration is 60 points. Organizational capacity and strategy is 70 points. Policies and programs is 35 points. Community choice is 5 points, for a total of 250 points. So basically the bottom of this says that the minimum points required to qualify for the award in 2019 was 70. So for us, I think the best thing to do is to read through the application and go through some of the things that we think we can conceivably achieve within the next 4 or 5 months. And can we achieve that 70 points where we could at least reach that minimum qualification to be noted as a community that's striving for best practices. I don't know if we want to go through this now and look at the different criteria. Do you think that's a good idea? And then we can maybe identify a couple items. Why don't we do that for a minute or two, and then we can go on. I mean, basically, Pre-application meetings. So the first criteria number one, offers pre-application meetings to those applying for building, zoning, or other related permits. So this is one of those things where I've always thought that it would be a nice thing for the town if someone wants to come to town to open a business. Would it behoove the town to have them come and talk to us first as economic development to give them ideas as to what course of action they need to take to go in front of zoning, planning and zoning, or whatever they need to do to get their change of use or whatever that may be in town. I think currently people walk into town hall and they go right to Betsy, which is basically an extension of us. Is that right, Bets?
It really depends on who it is and what they know. So some people do go straight to zoning, and I think if they wanted to have a pre-application meeting, they could, but I don't think that it's something we like market, and maybe that's something that we should, so that if you have a project that's, you know, possibly complicated, you can have all your, you know, T's crossed and I's dotted before you go to a meeting.
Okay, so my experience with the city of New Haven is they always have these with the city planning department, because it basically prepares the applicant for the city planning commission meetings to make sure they have everything they need.
Mm-hmm.
So that people don't waste the time of at the commission meetings with applications that are incomplete or.
Right. I have two questions. One is, does every single business need a permit? If you're renting an office space at One Bradley or something, you don't need to apply if you're just renting a space for a conforming use. You just.
Yeah, and if it's like to like, say a restaurant leaves and knows what a restaurant goes in, you don't need to go to zoning.
And an open empty space that was an accountant, but now you're an attorney, you just go on it.
Right.
Just go on. It's just an office use, no change of use.
Okay, and then the second is, if something is a little more complicated, are we well versed enough to really assist somebody?
Well,
Yeah.
Well,
I was thinking the same thing.
staff to TPZ is well versed enough.
Right. But for a new business to come to us, we would be obviously super welcoming, excited, and helpful as best we can, but can we really, we can't get them to the finish line.
No,
No, but I would refer them to staff who would be able to help with these issues.
I think
You
this
make a
question,
good
I think this
point.
question just is saying, does the town have a formalized pre-meeting or pre-application meeting process? And the answer is no right now.
No.
I think that's correct.
And we're saying, do we want to be that initial?
Well, I think what the exercise that we're going through is we can kind of go through quickly and see how many points we have to see if we're close. So let's assume this is a 0 for now,
yeah,
right?
so right, exactly. So this first one, we're not currently doing this. So, you know, let's move on to the second one, and we'll identify those that at least we think we're currently adhering to. Has a website or webpage for planning and economic development that is updated regularly within the past 3 months and provides clear statement of community's competitive edge, resources available to businesses, and contact information. I think that can be achieved if it's not already.
Well, we have a website.
We
But
do.
how often is it updated?
Whenever I have news to put on there, so I just put something on recently about the upcoming concerts and 3 new businesses in town.
Oh, okay.
So I say that there's 5 points. Uses social media to communicate with businesses, with business community and stakeholders. We certainly do that.
Yep.
Yep.
Facebook.
Land use regulations are available online, not through EDC, but through the town for sure. Yep. Provides ongoing communications and speedy responses, approvals to pending applicants.
That's a TPZ thing, and I'm not sure what that looks like.
Okay, so we'll leave that open. Offers GIS land use and parcel information online to applicants and the public. I don't
Yes.
think we do.
Yes, yeah.
Shares applications renderings online for stakeholders to review during the approval process.
So that's something that we're doing now
That's-
because it's required for COVID, but I don't know that we normally do that.
Okay. So we'll leave that off. Offers online permitting that allows for electronic signatures and payments. I would
Yes,
say yes. Okay.
that's 40 points.
Number 9, coordinates or offers flexibility in commission schedules or is willing to hold special meetings to expedite projects. I would say so.
Well, but that's not you, that's TPZ. So
Okay.
that's something that
Now
I
let-
don't know the answer to.
So
They've clearly shown that they're agile enough to hold special meetings.
yeah, I mean, they do.
Mhm.
Now, Betsy, with some of those questions and answers, is this a combination of their commission and ours?
Yes, so a lot of this is out of our hands.
Okay. So we'll say the 9 is, although it's not our commission that does, so I would say that, yeah, they are flexible and they do, hold special meetings pretty regularly. Actively participates in regional economic development initiatives.
Yes.
Yes. Publishes a checklist or flow chart demonstrating required permit submittals and is sent to applicants with steps that must be completed in order to proceed. That's not us. So I guess that's a TPZ thing. Works collaboratively with partners to foster economic development. Yes.
Definitely.
Encourages applicants to conduct community and neighborhood meetings in advance of public hearings and provides relevant context or support. I don't know, that's really our guys, but
I don't think,
probably not us.
yeah. I mean, I just don't think as a town we could answer yes.
Okay. Offers joint inspections if applicable, e.g. fire and building inspector, that's not us. Hosts interdepartmental staff meetings to address issues related to applicants for building, zoning, and other related permits. Not us.
Sort of.
Betsy probably does that.
I think
Sort
that would
of.
happen, but Betsy would know.
We'll give it a check. Which I think now takes us over 70 points already.
It said 60 at the bottom.
Yeah, 60.
That's just adding.
But you gotta put the numbers in the blue boxes.
Oh, all right, hold on.
But it's also not clear if we would get the full allotted points for each of these categories.
Right,
Oh, it's on a scale.
yeah,
Oh, I
that's
see.
good. But
Okay, well,
why do you
I
only
won't
put
go
six?
through it.
You only put
What?
6 for GIS. For
Oh,
number
sorry,
six.
because it was number 6. Sorry.
Yeah.
All
Probably
right, so
wrong.
we can go on. I'll put in the points just so we have it as a.
Oh, I see.
All right, so there's 35 here and 40 up there. So if this is all correct and we got full points, that would be your 75 points. We'll go on. Has a point person who serves as coordinator, ombudsman for request issues and ongoing communications. Yes. Has a mission statement on the business climate for communities that reflects the community's vision and demonstrates a commitment to supporting local existing businesses. Yes. Maintains ongoing training, professional development for ED and land use staff and commissioners. Orientation for new commission members. We do that, correct? That's what we do, the FOIA and
Yeah,
CEDAS.
but this is probably more geared towards TPZ
Okay,
and making sure that the decisions that they make are educated and current with the law. And I'm not sure, I don't know what they do.
okay, I'll stay off that one. Has completed a standardized economic development self-assessment and is addressing shortcomings identified.
Nope.
The survey we just did.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a standardized.
And that's not a self-assessment. That's not asking us.
We're not asking about ourselves. Next, asks applicants to provide feedback on the application process and uses feedback to make process improvements, customer satisfaction survey. We don't do that per se. We've taken surveys, but I don't think we do that with our applicants.
But again, that would be for TPZ, and I'm not sure
Yeah.
what they do.
Okay. Number 21, review zoning and land use regulations at minimum every 5 years for, that's not us. Move on from that one. Has a written economic development strategic plan current within the past 3 years. Sort
Not
of.
right now.
No.
Not written.
All right, that's the, oh no, we've got a couple more. Has municipal incentive policies and posted policies on the community's website?
We don't have any
I'd say no.
incentive policies.
Publishes design and signage guidelines? I would say no. Has a formal business retention and expansion program? I wouldn't say formal.
Mhm.
Demonstrates movement towards administrative review, form-based zoning, conceptual plan review, certain percentage or square foot expansions. Again, that's not us. Number 27, other innovative and creative ideas not previously accounted for and other criteria.
Sure.
So we probably fit into
We
that.
need some points.
Yeah, that's open for interpretation right there.
And then the last one, there's not even a box to check. Organization of application, clarity of narratives and grammar. I guess they would judge us on that based on what we would submit in our application.
Right, each of these check boxes, you have to provide supporting documentation.
So if we've identified these, I'm not going to count them all, but however many items we've identified that add up to 80, maybe it's our goal to really work on these and try to come up with the supporting documentation and then figure out which other ones we can achieve. And then, you know, Betsy, I don't know how we would work with TP&Z, but maybe we do our share and then maybe we pass it along to them. I know they've got their hands full right now.
Yeah, I mean, I could reach out to staff and Commissioner Klee and ask if they have the bandwidth to work on some of these issues.
I think it shows all the potential too for every box we didn't check. Many of them are things we didn't even think about. So maybe as we talk about goals and for next year or the end of this year, we might want to incorporate some of these.
I agree. And one thing we used to do in the past that we have not done at all due to COVID and not being together in person is bringing in new business owners to our group just to present themselves to the town. And I think actually, I don't know in the past if we've had anyone before they've moved into town come and present to us, but either way, it'll be a nice piece that we can bring back when we get together. Because there are a number of new businesses in town, and to bring them in will be nice. I think we should put this on the agenda for the following meetings and try to start working away at some of these items and try to get this done. I think it's a good goal. I think it would be nice for the town to be recognized.
When is the
Not best
deadline?
we can- yeah. What is the
So
deadline?
the new application has not been posted yet,
Oh,
so I
right,
would
right.
assume it would be fall, maybe?
This one was 4:30, September 15th. So yeah, maybe it'll be
Around the same time.
first
Well,
month of the fall.
if it's September, mid-September 2021, that doesn't give us much time.
No, it does not.
So when it comes out, hopefully the deadline is a little further out.
Betsy, do you have any thoughts on, I don't know, how best to attack this? I think we can do it. I certainly think it's within our reach.
Yeah, I mean, I think this exercise shows that we have a lot of the things there, and a good chunk of the things that we either don't do or aren't sure if we do are out of our hands. But that conversation would be really useful. I'm not sure. I don't work with them, so I don't know when TPZ is going through applications. Are they thinking about, you know, speed in terms of making it easier for a business? I'm not sure that's top of mind. So that's certainly something that we could talk with them about in terms of trying to find a way for them to feel like they're doing all the due diligence they need to do, but also making it easier for businesses that want to come here that are appropriate to be here.
And I think some of those questions, you know, can be answered by town staff and not the commissions to understand their current practices. I think it's a
Yeah.
great idea. I think we should pursue it and encourage I mean, is this a Board of Selectmen permission type of thing, or do we just start the process?
I think you would just start the process. I would alert the board that this is something that you're working on, but I don't think it's something that they would get involved in.
Okay.
That's great, because I think, it's best practice award, and, it just is gonna help Woodbridge get to a better place. Always
Yeah,
room
and
for improvement.
And some of the items on here are basically items that we've talked about in other ways, like like the business association. If we're helping businesses promote themselves and get themselves out there and promote their own businesses, that's gonna knock off one of these. I forget which one it is because I just put it down, but it's gonna definitely knock off some of these items, and that would be supporting supporting evidence is we're working with businesses to help them promote their business and help them, network in town and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I guess at the next meeting we can, yeah, go ahead. I thought someone said something. At the next meeting, we can just go through these one by one and try to identify what we're doing and then try to find the supporting documentation for it and try to knock them off, I think. Okay. Updates and announcements? Betsy, do you have anything?
I do. I heard that Carmine's is going to be leaving their current location in New Haven and moving into the Empty Wheelers building.
Whoa, that's big
Yeah.
news.
That's cool.
That's good news.
Oh,
Yeah.
by the car wash, right? Down there. Oh, it looks, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not sure what the timing is on that. But I think it's soonish. So
Cool.
that's exciting.
Really
Yeah.
exciting.
And the soccer, it was Jeremy, you probably know about this more.
Yeah. 110 Bradley, 136 Bradley Road. Sold. That's
Okay.
including the tennis bubble. I don't know what they're going to be doing, to be honest with you. They've been pretty quiet about what they're going to be doing. You may know more than I do. But I believe that there is, I think that there's a sports piece to it. Yeah, so that piece of property is closed. That's the old, for all you folks that don't know, it's the old Trash Master building. Towards the end of, I have to answer a phone call, a management emergency. Give me a second. I'm gonna
No
mute you
problem.
guys. Go on for a second.
No problem. So I know the soccer,
Which
indoor
one is
soccer.
it, Betsy? Is it
So it's behind the tennis bubble.
So
behind the
if the tennis bubble is on your right, you go past it and it's on the right? Because I
Yes.
think there's a
So
little professional building before it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, you're right. So there's a professional building and on one corner, there's the tennis
Mhm.
bubble on the following corner, and
So it's the
behind
one-
the tennis bubble, yes, so the two lots are contiguous. So it's not the professional building. I think that was sold to somebody else. But the tennis bubble and the vacant building behind it are sold jointly. And I think the tennis bubble is going to stay the same, but the vacant building behind it is going to have an indoor soccer field. There may be more
big?
to it.
Is
Yeah,
that-
yeah, there may be more to it, but at minimum, I know there's going to be an indoor soccer field.
And that's not the building where this New York firm relocated with the art installations? Because that's
think
also
they're-
somewhere.
I think it's right there, but it's a separate building.
Great.
So yeah, lots of positive movement.
Mhm.
So, given all
Um,
the negative stuff that was going around about the unfortunate probable move of New England Brewery out of Woodbridge, and there was a lot of negative stuff, I was kind of hoping some of those comments would come to public comment so we could hear what what they were accusing Woodbridge of being non-responsive to businesses in town, which I think is just not accurate. But given the fact that these are two really good pieces of news, what can we do to promote this good news?
Well, I think, when something is more formal, right now, the property's changed hands, and they've had conversations with TPZ, but I don't think anything's been filed yet. So,
But can we convince the new owners to issue a press release of their own?
we could. I
Are
mean,
you
I
saying
think
for Carmine's?
For Carmine's or this new sports facility?
yeah, I mean, I think the concern is always,
Are they ready?
right, or, does something weird come up and it's delayed, or, because I would love to show people that we're doing positive things, but I would hate to say, look at all this amazing stuff we're doing, and then something goes wrong and we're not doing it,
That's why I'm
and then
saying-
we're blamed
Wait a
again.
minute.
That's
Just
why
wait.
I'm- Yeah, I know, but that's why I have the new business owners, if they're making the announcement. I see what you're saying, but
Betsy, there's a new business in Sylvan Plaza, it's called
The fencing company?
Rogue Fencing Academy. Yeah,
Yes.
my son was fencing with the owner when she was in Prospect, but she couldn't do that anymore because of COVID, and now she's started her own business. So
Where is that? I just
it's right between Woodbridge Social and Tie Stories.
Where Mathnasium used to be.
Oh, I just drove through there. I must have missed it. Okay, great.
So
I actually just got a call from someone who's looking to move to town who had a question about fencing. And I was
Oh.
like, oh, it's really mostly in
they
the
can check that box now.
but yeah, fencing. That's
And
fabulous.
she trains, I spoke with her on the phone today.
Oh, great.
Some of her students are potentially going to the Tokyo Olympics. One of them is in Cairo right now. The
Wow.
woman I spoke with is going to be, I was asking her about something. She said, oh, I can't do that. I'll be in Ecuador. I mean, she and her students are like all across the country, all across the globe for fencing competitions. It's like very,
Wow.
very high caliber.
Oh yeah.
It's
Hold, I'm gonna write it
incredible.
down.
where did she move her business from?
Prospect.
I'm sorry, you said that already.
Yeah. Well, she so it was a rec program in Prospect. She also had, she was doing some private lessons as well. But again, the demand is there, and she found the space.
Tell me the name again.
It's called Rogue Fencing Academy,
ROGUE.
Mhm.
and that's the same. RogueFencingAcademy.com is the website.
Okay.
So
Wow,
yeah,
that's
we stopped by last week. She was happy to see my son. So that was kind of cool. She's presently only doing epee. That's her specialty. But she's also, very experienced in foil and I believe saber as well. So anyway, she's just getting wrapped up, and yeah, I told her I would mention it to the EDP, but Betsy, you beat me to it. That's cool though. I'm glad. That's great. Cool. And then
Which part of Selden Plaza is she in?
Between the two restaurants.
Yeah, between Tide Stories and Woodbridge Social.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Does Amity have a fencing team?
No.
They did, but
Options is the only
I
place
think
around I know that's fencing.
something. Yeah, there's something.
Amity had a fencing club at one point, and actually they did so well that they won some tournament, but because they were a club, not real team,
There was some.
they weren't afforded all the rights and privileges with winning a tournament. But there were so few participants that if they had graduated out, I don't know if there's enough in the funnel to keep the program going. There's very few public schools that have fencing. I think Guilford does, but mostly it's in the private schools. But if there's interest, I think the school would be open to it. They should be open to it.
And if memory serves, I believe Coach did work with that club. It was going back probably like 6, maybe 7 years ago, I'd say. Cool. I'm curious about Nebco. So it was like a stormwater runoff issue, right? And that's what they couldn't fix that, I guess. But I've also heard they might consider keeping the tap room in Woodbridge. Is that a rumor, or is there any?
I think everything is on the table right now. They have not signed a lease in New Haven. They have not even filed with TPZ in New Haven.
That story was a little premature, maybe, or preemptive,
Yeah.
but Grimaldis is available for lease now.
What was that?
The Grimaldis restaurant is now available for lease,
Oh,
and the Katz's Plaza Grimaldis is officially out, so that space is now available for rent.
It's so big. Has there been any interest in it, or is it too early?
It just
Did
it
come on?
just came on. But either go ahead.
I wonder if the Carmine's people looked at that and they had a choice between the two.
I don't think they knew about it yet.
Hmm.
I don't know if they knew about it yet. The Grimaldi space is about 4,400 square feet, something like that. It's a big restaurant, but
It's
they
big,
pulled
yeah.
everything out of it, so it's now pretty gutted.
Mm.
I guess
So
they never really took. I guess they've never really taken off, huh? Yeah.
That's a pretty courageous move to try to open a pizza place in Woodbridge when you're not far from Worcester Street.
well, there's just a lot of pizza around.
Yeah.
That is true.
Did I miss an update? Well, I had to run off for a second. Was there anything I missed?
I
Like a
don't
comment
think
on?
so. I was just sort of trying to fill in about the soccer thing, and that is also, they've had conversations with zoning, but they haven't filed anything yet. So I'm not entirely sure what that's going to look like.
Any updates on the referendum that got passed, or I forget what you want to call it, the letter that got passed around trying to get signatures for referendum regarding the country club?
It was submitted to the town, and the town attorney is reviewing it. I'm not really sure what the next steps are.
Okay. Did they get the required amount of signatures that they needed?
I think so.
I mean,
So this was
if they submitted it, I mean, they had to have hit the mark, right? I mean,
Yeah, I would think so.
wouldn't make sense to submit it, right?
Right. And then I don't know if they need to double check to make sure that they're all, valid or not duplicates.
And now this was submitted to have the town put together a referendum to discuss the clubhouse at the country club?
Well, it would be to convert or sell the clubhouse for a restaurant and event venue, and to preserve the remainder of the property as open space. But it's not clear to me what the next steps are. I don't know. I don't know what happens next.
Along the same subject matter, do we know? I read in the the town news and the newspaper, etc., that is it going to be a referendum for the bonds for the senior center and the school roof and the demolishing of the clubhouse? And
The new Board of Selectmen will have to vote whether or not to send those questions, or I
Okay.
guess could be some of those questions, to referendum or special town meeting.
so that's still very early.
Yes, so that had to, the current Board of Selectmen said that, yes, they were interested in exploring these things.
Okay.
And last month they sent them to bond counsel. I don't know what's involved in that, but the legal documents are being drawn up, and then the question would be, does the new Board of Selectmen want to move forward with this and take it to the public?
I see.
Did the new Board of Selectmen start, or when is that transition?
July 1.
Will there be a new member of the Board of Selectmen that'll be a liaison with us, or will we stay like this?
There would be a new liaison because Mika is not, did not run, so he's not going to be on the board. And there, towards the end of this month, the new board will meet to nominate people to vacant positions on the boards and commissions. So I would assume there'd be at least one, possibly more new members that you all would learn about either right before or right after July 1. The other thing to be aware of is that the town is going to be allowing boards and commissions to meet in person starting on July 1 if you'd like. That's assuming the governor's executive order that allows virtual meetings gets renewed. If that it expires June 30th. If it does not get renewed, then you will be required to meet in person starting on July 1. I think it's going to be renewed, so you will have the choice how you'd like to meet in the future.
Should we talk about that for a minute?
I'm cool with going and meeting in person. Yeah, I want to get out of the house.
I am as well.
Yeah.
As well. If we go back to 6 o'clock, will we keep our same schedules that we said, Betsy?
Well, that would be up to you. The other thing that we'd have to think about is, when you're virtual, who cares what time it is, right? Because no one else is using the virtual room. But if you're in person,
You don't have to
we'll
drive.
have to see if the room is available.
Right.
And I know Toby, in person, cannot make 6 o'clock.
Right.
I don't know if his term is up. If it is, I'm not sure if he's expressed an interest in staying on EDC. I'm not sure.
I don't think his term is up.
Do
No,
we have
okay.
terms that are up? How do we know if our term is up?
My term's upcoming.
Brooks, Donovan,
Just
and
started
Term expires in June, according to the website.
Who expires?
Thank you.
Donovan, you can't leave yet.
I got an
Brooks-
email to if I wanted to stay on. I said yes. I think.
Wait, Donovan, you just got here. How are you?
Just got here.
Yeah, but he must have been filling somebody else.
Somebody,
Yeah, he's filling someone's term.
somebody moved
Oh,
out
it must
of
have been for
Mike.
Michael Holland, maybe.
Oh, okay. So am I expiring?
No, not till
No.
2023. You're stuck.
Confirm.
Yeah, they're 4-year. They're 4-year.
What did we sign up for?
For the presidency.
Okay, so we have 1, possibly 2 spots.
No, there's no. Well,
I don't know about Brooks. Brooks may be up.
there's
I heard that he is.
He sold his house.
But he's staying in town.
he's
That's why
Oh.
he's not here tonight. He's actually in the process of moving. That's just across town.
Oh, okay, great. Great.
That's got to be something that Woodbridge skews very high in terms of people selling homes and staying within the same town. I bet our numbers are probably the highest of all towns in Connecticut for that.
That's why 55 and over community would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Keep people more of our residents in town.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did it.
Another smaller housing stock, another option for people to, downsize to.
That's when they move out, when you can't afford to stay or there's not a small space to move into.
And even if they move out of town, they're still moving out of town, but it's still going to be a young family with kids that are going to come into that big old house. And it doesn't matter whether we build more housing for an aging population, because all we're trying to do is keep people in town. When those houses vacate, it's just going to be a new family moving in no matter what. So
Right.
Well,
Yes.
the aging, so the thing that people forget is that the age, there's, it's kind of like a bell curve with the current, 60s, the boomer generation. So I mean, that older population is going to decline, and then so the following generation of retirees is going to diminish. So that might have to support senior. So initially they would be demand, but that demand might trail off.
I don't know. It seems like every After every graduation year, you drive around town and all the houses are for sale.
When the balloons go up, so does the
After,
for sale
right,
sign.
there you go.
If
It's
you need a
crazy.
realtor, here I am.
It's crazy.
Huh.
It's like clockwork.
I mean,
Balloons go up.
that's been the case for, I mean, decades though, right, Debbie? I mean, I don't think.
Yeah, because you have a big house, you're an empty nester, you're paying the taxes and you're not using the schools. There's a lot of reasons for a lot of the moves. I mean, we're empty nesters right now, but I can understand it. You know, sometimes people think when their kids are out of high school, now it's time for a job change or a relocation for other reasons. And sometimes it's simply just not wanting to pay the taxes and have a larger home anymore. And if they can downsize in the area, they would, but often there aren't options. And it happens in other towns too. It happens in Madison or Guilford and, you know, other places as well. But here, it seems a little more prevalent.
Yeah, I mean, so it's the right to, if you're gonna try to move into town, you might as well move into town during the summer so you can get your family ready and your kids in the school system and get ready. I mean, it's the whole,
Right.
that's the time to sell.
Right,
School's
and
over,
summer-
put up the sign.
Right, summer's always the most popular time to move historically, but yeah, there are, if you have one child, two children, three children, et cetera, when that last one is done with the high school, you often see those families. I have a selling client who fits that bill.
Nice write-up in the paper, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I've been busy selling houses, selling pillows, right, Cleo?
Love them.
It's all good. Any other updates or announcements? I think that is a no. For the next meeting, should we focus on working on this best practices application? Hopefully the 2021 app will be out by then. And if it is, maybe we can circulate it around prior to the meeting so we can look at the different items in there and see if anything's changed a lot.
Yeah, and I'll have time also to ask my colleagues, you know, what their role is with this, and I'll have more information.
And do you think we should wait till the fall to try to put together some commercial owner type meetings or commercial property owner stuff? I don't know if summer or just off of COVID is the best time, or if we should work on what we're working on for the summer and then try to do this in the fall. But I'd like to
Good question.
get the pulse of the.
Now, maybe we should try because people are trying to get out again and have in-person interaction. Maybe we should try it for the summer. But of course, I'm the type that never goes away in the summer, so my opinion's probably not good.
Any
Well,
thoughts on it?
let's see what the executive order says also, because it's one thing for us to meet, and then it's another to open it up to the community.
How do you envision that meeting, that setting, Jeremy?
Well, in the past, we had met at we had meetings at the JCC in one of their small rooms, and we just gathered around a table with the you know, the commercial district owners, and we just talked.
Okay.
I think we did it there. I don't know why our choice was there. Maybe because it was sort of a not at a town setting, and it was a little bit more relaxed. You know, setting. We could have food there. I don't know that we'd have food now, but I don't know, there's a lot of options.
Yeah, now that we have the brewery, I don't know if a social setting would, I don't know, grab a beer or whatever, if that makes sense to people.
Yeah, the only difficult thing about the brewery is you'd have to meet outside because
Okay.
inside's too loud, and outside probably would be loud too. But we could
Got it,
talk to
okay.
Rob and see if we could have a little spot there. But either way, I guess it's a matter of scheduling, and then we can figure out the location afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Go ahead, Betsy.
I was just saying, I think we want to make sure we have a robust agenda if we're going to bring them together, right? Because last time we met right before COVID and we had this to-do list and then everything went out the window.
Everything.
So I would hate for people to feel like we're bringing them together for a meeting and then there's like not enough substance.
Mhm.
Agree.
Maybe we could see what the substance is and then determine if it's worth meeting. And if it's not such a huge group, I think at the JCC we had 8 or 10 tops,
Mhm.
that maybe we can leverage one of the new businesses. So whether it's this fencing academy or the new liquor store, you know, what do we need other than a 6-foot table and a stack of folding chairs? Maybe we try to highlight a business and see if we
Mhm.
can meet there.
Or in an empty parcel.
In an empty parcel, right? A new business, an empty business. Maybe we ask one of these property owners to host.
We could definitely, I could definitely find vacant space for us to have a meeting in for sure.
Okay.
100%. So maybe for the next meeting, we talk about this, a meeting of gathering, you know, commercial unit owners, or is it that we're gathering business owners? There's two different, you know, we have landowners, property owners, and we have business owners. Do we want to focus on those who own property or those who are doing business?
Well, I think this survey information would be interested to the commercial property owners. I think it might be of interest to residents or business owners, but I think it's much more interesting to the commercial property owners who are looking to fill vacant spaces.
So I would say next meeting, then let's put that on the agenda, then we'll talk about this. We'll go over the CEDIS application. Hopefully it'll be up by then. I don't know, anything else?
Well, we can retouch on the survey
Okay.
and see if we feel like we're ready for prime time with that.
I'm going on vacation, so hopefully I'll have some recharged batteries when I get back and I'll finish it up.
Okay.
Good for
Enjoy.
you.
Yeah, it looks really good so far. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's easy to understand.
All right, if there's nothing else, then ask for a motion to adjourn. Cleo was the first hand up. Debbie was the second. Any discussion on this? All in favor?
Bye.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good
All
night.
right, take care.